So the G7 summit is going on where the major world leaders gather to discuss the problems facing the planet, and Joe Biden has embarrassed America in front of the entire world. It's been very difficult for him because, well, he's only capable of going out to get ice cream, not tackle the global issues that are facing society today. He's going to be sitting down with Vladimir Putin today, one-on-one, in a private meeting, of course. I mean, can you imagine how embarrassing that would be if we were to get to watch that? And he was asked about his previous comments about calling Vladimir Putin a killer, and this was his response. And by the way, I didn't manipulate this video in any way whatsoever for comedic effect. This is real.
Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer?
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do.
Well, I mean, he may have acknowledged some stuff. Come on, man. There are other clips of him having Alzheimer's episodes, but the audio is pretty bad, so I won't play them, and you get the point. Like when Boris Johnson, British Prime Minister, was introducing everybody, and then Joe Biden interrupted him and told him that he forgot to introduce the President of South Africa, even though he just did. All of the other world leaders literally laughed at him, but this is not funny. This would be like one of your grandparents asking you what's for dinner moments after they just got done eating. It's a clear sign that something is wrong. And since all of the world leaders have gathered, they're doing a bunch of interviews, and Vladimir Putin turned the tables when doing one with NBC.
Did you order Alexei Navalny's assassination?
Of course not. We don't have this kind of habit of assassinating anybody. That's one. Number two is, I want to ask you, did you order the assassination of the woman who walked into the Congress and who was shot and killed by a policeman? Do you know that 450 individuals were arrested after entering the Congress, and they didn't go there to steal a laptop? They came with political demands. 450 people have been detained.
You're talking about a capital.
They're looking at jail time between 15 and 25 years. And they came to the Congress with political demands. Isn't that persecution for political opinions?
Of course, he's talking about Ashley Babbitt, who was unarmed and killed in the Capitol on January 6th without giving a warning by the officer before firing. And that officer's name, by the way, still has not been released. And speaking of things getting dumped down the memory hole, a black man was just arrested for shooting 5 white people in 3 different instances in 2 different states, in Georgia and Alabama, in what he admits were anti-white hate crimes. He specifically targeted white men in order to get revenge for what they've done to black people. If the tables were turned, you know that this would literally be the #1 story in the country. It would be wall-to-wall coverage for weeks. Old Joe, the supposed president, would have issued a statement denouncing this horrific racist attack. But, of course, it's been dumped down the memory hole because just to admit that black people can be racist too and can commit and do commit anti-white hate crimes and anti-Asian hate crimes, that in and of itself is considered to be racist. The survivors would be giving live interviews from their hospital beds on Good Morning America and every other major talk show. Every celebrity would be commenting about this case and denouncing the horrific racist, the perpetrator. But in this case, and every other when the perpetrator is black, it's crickets. There's more to come in this video, so stay tuned. But real quick, subscribe to my channel if you're new here because I'm tired of this BS, and I'm sure that you are too. So subscribe to my channel and check back here on a regular basis. As you know, to expose the rash of hate crimes, particularly against Asians that are underreported in the national news, that usually only get reported in local news, people share them through social media to the extent that the stories are actually allowed to be shared and show up in people's feeds. And so the liberal media is, of course, upset about that. NBC News complains that viral images show people of color as anti-Asian perpetrators. That misses the big picture. Oh, how dare you undermine their narrative trying to perpetuate the fake news that there's a systemic white supremacy problem in America. Soon Facebook will probably start adding their additional context notification when you post those kinds of articles. They'll black it out. They won't say that it's been declared false, because it's true, but they'll say, well, there's additional context that you need to know, but some white people commit racism too. In other news, despite the Democrats doing a great job of destroying America and censoring the truth on social media, there is a growing pushback. And even in California now, the mandatory mask mandate was just lifted yesterday. And on Stephen Colbert's late night talk show, former comedian Jon Stewart, whose real name is John Leibowitz, made a series of jokes about how the coronavirus was man-made in the Chinese lab.
I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Stephen Colbert was noticeably uncomfortable because, well, he has an aversion to the truth. And it's interesting that just 2 weeks ago, making jokes like that would get a video censored on YouTube and other social media platforms.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab, there's an investigation?
A chance?
Well, but
oh my
if there's
God.
evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do we do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan Novel Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. The disease is the same name as the lab.
I don't think I've laughed from a late night talk show since Jay Leno retired from The Tonight Show. And the best comedy, as you know, is the truth. It's telling uncomfortable truths or clever truths or some form of the truth.
That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask the scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle.
It's a comedian's job to tell the truth when nobody else can, and perhaps comedy is the only thing that can possibly save America at this point, because you can't have a rational discussion with the mentally ill and the Marxists that are trying to destroy our country. You have to mock them and make fun of them. To help people laugh and spread the word, get yourself a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt from my online store at markdice.com, or my I Love Global Warming shirt that contains facts and opinions some may find offensive shirt, or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.